Right now, as you're watching this, a line of severe thunderstorms is rolling directly over one of the most dangerous wildfire zones in Canada. Wind gusts up to 110 kilometers an hour, hail the size of loonies, torrential rain, and underneath all of it, nearly 200 wildfires that have been burning out of control for more than a week. Rain and lightning slamming into an active fire zone at the same time. That's not a normal weather story. That's a collision course. And it's exactly what we're breaking down this morning. And our focus is northwestern Ontario, a region that has been hammered by wildfire for 7 straight days and is now getting hit by a cold front that brings both relief and real new danger, sometimes in the same breath. The warnings are already in. Let's start with what's active right now, because this is not a quiet morning. Environment Canada issued its thunderstorm outlook late Sunday night at 15:42 UTC, covering the period from noon Monday through midnight, and the warnings that followed were serious. At 5:35 a.m., an orange level warning, the second highest tier Environment Canada issues, went up for the Ignace and English River area. Impact level, high. Forecast confidence, high. Widespread power outages are likely. Significant damage to buildings and trees is likely. At the same moment, a second orange warning was issued for the Uppsala and Wraith area. If those two names sound familiar, there's a reason. Ignace and Uppsala sit at the epicenter of some of the most aggressive, most dangerous wildfire activity in the entire province right now. This isn't a storm rolling over open farmland. It's a high-impact system tracking directly across land that has been on fire for over a week. Here's the full picture as of 5:10 a.m. Eastern. A line of severe storms was tracked stretching from roughly 30 kilometers north of Caswell-Ogoki Lake to Chicago Lake, moving east at 40 kilometers per hour, packing wind gusts to 90 kilometers per hour, hail up to 2.5 centimeters, about the size of a quarter, and rainfall of 15 to 50 millimeters. Directly in its path, Chicago Lake, Heathcote Lake, Chesapeake Lake, Bright Sand River Provincial Park, Ombabika Lake, Wabakimi Lake, and Uneven Lake. Wabakimi Provincial Park has been one of the province's most active wildfire zones for days, and this storm is heading straight through it. At 5:18 a.m., a second cluster was tracked near Pawanga Lake, also moving east at 45 kilometers per hour, with the same threat profile: 90 kilometers per hour gusts, quarter-sized hail, and 15 to 50 millimeters of rain. In its path, Mimiska Lake, Atwood Lake, Caggiano Lake, Pikitigushi Lake, Machawian Lake, and Obonga Lake. And at 5:20 a.m., a third line was tracked from 20 kilometers northwest of Marmion Lake to Sandpoint Lake, same eastward track, same 40 kilometers per hour speed, same 90 kilometers per hour gusts, and loony-sized hail near 2.5 centimeters. This one threatens Sandpoint Lake, Lac LaCroix, Steep Rock Lake, Marmion Lake, Quetico Lake, Sapaway, Pipestone Lake, and the Quetico Corridor. Every one of these locations has been burning for more than a week. On top of all that, a yellow watch went up at 3:31 a.m. for a broader second round of storms riding in behind the cold front, wind gusts up to 100 kilometers per hour, and hail up to 5 centimeters, tennis ball sized. That watch stretches across Thunder Bay, Cloud Bay, Dorion, Nipigon, Rossport, Beardmore, Geraldton, McDiarmid, Kakabeka Falls, and Whitefish Lake. Environment Canada has split today's threat into 2 zones. Zone A, centered on the Thunder Bay to Kenora corridor, is rated a high weather risk, with gusts of 90 to 110 kilometers per hour and hail up to 5 centimeters. Zone B, north and east of Thunder Bay, is a moderate risk zone, with gusts of 70 to 90 kilometers per hour and hail up to 2 centimeters. Everywhere else in the province, Toronto, Ottawa, Hamilton, Windsor, is sitting in a minor risk category today. Why this storm is different? Now here's the part that actually matters. It's not just that severe storms are happening, it's where. According to the Ministry of Natural Resources July 19th update, the most recent available, Ontario currently has 192 active wildfires. Of those, 57 are classified as not under control, down from 72 just 2 days ago, as recent rain starts to show results. The scale of individual fires here is staggering. Thunder Bay 36, burning inside Wabakimi Provincial Park, has now been remapped at over 318,000 hectares. That's one single fire complex. Fort Frances 14 sits at 55,000 hectares. Fort Frances 15 sits at 48,000 hectares. Both are listed as not under control. Both sit directly in today's storm path. The fire districts of Nipigon, Sault Ste. Marie, Lookout, Red Lake, Dryden, and Fort Frances are all underneath this system right now. That sets up what I'd call a genuine dual impact event. On one hand, this storm is dropping real rain, 15 to 50 millimeters across the fire zones, and that's enough to knock down fire intensity and let ground crews push back into suppression mode. It starts chipping away at the fuel moisture deficit that's made these forests burn like kindling all week. We actually saw a version of this play out after last Friday's storms, on July 17th and 18th, when rain gave crews some breathing room. But here's the other side of that same coin, and it's the part that should worry you. Those same Friday storms also sparked 7 brand new wildfires from lightning strikes alone, 7 new ignitions, in a landscape that was already burning out of control. Today's system is stronger than Friday's. Lightning will be widespread, frequent, and intense, across the exact same tinder-dry forest. The odds of multiple new fire starts from lightning today are high. And then there's the wind. Gusts of 90 to 110 kilometers per hour in Zone A aren't just a threat to power lines and trees. They can radically accelerate fire behavior that's already active. Firefighters call this spotting. Burning embers get lifted by wind and thrown ahead of the main fire front, sometimes for kilometers, igniting fresh fires in forest that hasn't burned yet. At 90 plus km per hour, that spotting risk is extreme. Crews who spent the night making progress on one flank could wake up to 2 or 3 new fronts they weren't watching for. That's exactly why mandatory evacuation orders remain in place across multiple communities in the region. There's one more twist here, and it's genuinely interesting from a meteorology standpoint. The thick wildfire smoke that's blanketed northwestern Ontario all week may actually be capping how powerful these storms can get. Smoke blocks incoming solar radiation, which cools the surface layer of the atmosphere, and that reduces the instability severe storms feed on. We saw this exact effect last Saturday, when smoke suppressed storm development and rainfall came in lower than models predicted. So today, actual rain totals could land toward the low end of that 15 to 50 millimeter range in some spots, which means less firefighting benefit from the rain, while the lightning threat stays just as high. The air quality story, better in the south, still brutal up north. Since July 15th, Ontario has posted some of the worst air quality readings recorded anywhere on Earth, according to IQ Air's real-time global rankings. Toronto was ranked the #1 worst air quality city in the world on July 15th, and #2 on July 16th, ahead of cities with chronic, year-round pollution problems. The Air Quality Health Index sat at high to very high across most of the province through last Friday and Saturday, with health officials urging people to stay indoors. Here's the good news. Saturday's stormy weather helped flush a lot of that lingering smoke out of southern Ontario. By this morning, air quality is finally starting to improve across the Greater Toronto Area, Ottawa, and much of eastern Ontario. If you're in Toronto, Hamilton, Kingston, or Ottawa, today should genuinely look and smell cleaner, with the oppressive haze that's hung over the region finally starting to lift, though some lingering haze is still possible around the Windsor-London corridor and the Niagara region. That relief does not extend north. Anywhere near Thunder Bay or the northeast, extremely poor air quality is forecast to persist through Monday and into Tuesday. The fires up there are simply too close and too large for today's rain to make a meaningful dent. If you're in one of those communities, stay indoors, keep windows closed, skip strenuous outdoor activity, and wear an N95 mask if you have to go out. What comes next? Zooming out. Environment and Climate Change Canada's outlook points to above-average temperatures across much of the country through July and into August, with continued dry conditions expected for northwestern Ontario and Manitoba. The Fire Danger Index is expected to stay elevated to extreme across northern Ontario and into Quebec for the foreseeable future. So let's be clear about what today's storm actually is. Temporary, localized relief, not a solution. Meteorologists are blunt about this. It would take several consecutive days of heavy rain and sustained high humidity to make a real dent in this fire season, and that's not in the forecast this week. Smoke from Ontario's fires will keep drifting into the Great Lakes region, the U.S. Northeast, and the Midwest in the days ahead as winds shift. To put the scale of this in national context, Canada had nearly 900 active wildfires as of the middle of last week. The 2026 fire season had already logged more than 3,600 fires as of July 17th, with close to 1.9 million hectares burned nationally as of July 14th, according to NASA and the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre. Climate scientists have directly tied the extreme heat driving this season to human-caused climate change. Climate Central's attribution analysis found the specific heat event behind this outbreak was made up to 5 times more likely by warming linked to human activity. Premier Doug Ford visited Thunder Bay yesterday and pledged unlimited firefighting funding, a signal of just how serious this has become. Firefighters have been flown in from Alberta, the Yukon, and other provinces and territories to help battle the nearly 200 fires currently burning. Grand Chief Alvin Fiddler says close to half of all Anishinaabe-Aski Nation communities have been affected, with more than a dozen currently under evacuation orders. Sandy Lake First Nation, also known as Namo-Wiminikan First Nation, was devastated last week by a fast-moving fire that destroyed homes and community buildings. Behind every statistic in this story is a real community, a real family, and today's storm is going to hit them in ways that are hopeful and uncertain at the very same time. Bottom line for today. The squall line moving through northwestern Ontario this morning is real, and it's dangerous. If you're inside the orange warning zones around Ignace and Uppsala, take cover the moment storms approach. Environment Canada has rated this a high-impact event. If you're in Thunder Bay or anywhere in the yellow watch zone to the east, stay weather-aware through the morning and into early afternoon. The line is moving fast, at 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, so conditions can flip quickly. For southern Ontario, Toronto, Hamilton, the 401 corridor, Ottawa, today brings a genuine, welcome improvement in air quality, with temperatures around 27 degrees Celsius in Toronto and a 40% chance of showers returning tonight. Tuesday brings a 60% chance of showers and slightly cooler temperatures near 23 degrees Celsius, with a cloudier, cooler midweek ahead. This story is far from finished. The wildfire crisis in northwestern Ontario is going to be with us for weeks, not days, and I'll keep bringing you updates as this storm system clears out and as new fire reports come in from the Ministry of Natural Resources throughout the day. If you want to stay on top of a historic fire season as it unfolds, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get these updates in real time. Stay safe out there, northwestern Ontario. And to every fire crew on the ground today, we're thinking of you. I'll see you in the next one.